back to Delusions of Grandeur. I am your host, David Stregi, and here in the room with me, I have Boris, all the way from Croatia. How are you
Hi,
doing?
fine, thank you. How are you?
Today we're going to go on about a film that was filmed in 2003, although it could have been filmed earlier than that. Do you know whether it was filmed earlier than the IMDb date or no?
Well, it probably was filmed earlier because here I have one rare VHS copy of it which says 2002. So,
Okay.
uh,
So it was actually distributed to the public maybe in 2002, but IMDb claims it to have a 2003 release. So it is a John Bowker film, and
yes,
um, the one of the main characters that we see here, her name is Kathy. Um, and she just so happens to and this is the sequel to the Evilmaker that we are going on
yes,
about. It is called Abomination: The Evilmaker II.
exactly.
So here we have Kathy, who is played by Kylie Weatherall. And if you have listened to some of our previous discussions by now, you will already have noticed that Kylie Weatherall actually did play in two other John Bowker films. She played a cameo as a zombie in Dreamwalkers.
Yeah, well, her scene was actually quite long compared to some other nightmare scenes.
And she also played in Housebound, the main character,
Correct?
who had the fear of leaving the home that she lived in because of her experiences with her parents and so on and so forth. So here, why don't you tell us a little bit about Kathy and Boris, and what her character here is, and what she ends up starting to do. So we have her showing we have her showing up to the where everything happened. Correct?
Yes, yes, at first, yeah, Kathy is a sister of Rachel Watkins from the first Evilmaker movie, the Felicia Pandolfi character. As far as we find out here, what happened in the first movie is like a mystery to everyone. All they know is that Serena, Stephanie Beaton's character from the first movie, she was the only one who came out of the haunted house alive, and she was institutionalized, and soon afterwards she committed suicide, and the other three women, Rachel, Cindy, and Tyler, they were never found. But Kathy, Rachel's sister, she is having some visions and dreams, which she believes are because of a psychic connection she has with her sister, and she thinks Rachel might be dead, but she is not entirely sure about it, which is why she ends up visiting the haunted house on her own. And
Okay.
uh,
Does this look like the same haunted house as before, or do you think it is a different location?
it is the same location, the same house, the same culvert, this iconic location from the first Evil Maker movie. It's the same one. However, yes.
Well, what was your first impression of this entire film as a whole? When you first saw it,
Well,
I
this
assume
movie,
that this is not a first time watch.
no, it's not the first time. uh, this movie is quite different from the first Evil Maker movie because the first one relied a lot on the mystery, on the fear of the unknown, of not knowing who or what the Evil Maker is and what it wants. And here in the second one, well, it was partially explained in the first movie, but in this one it's more expanded and confirmed what the Evil Maker is. So we get to know that it's as Madame Vladimiria, Shannon's character, says evil is everywhere on Earth, but on that particular location it is so strong that it gained its own consciousness and it haunts people and plays with their minds and makes them do things that the same person wouldn't normally do. So that's
Okay,
what we
so
find out.
in fact, it's kind of an entity that kind of possesses one's abilities to do anything. I mean, it almost takes over you and um, makes you do things that you wouldn't normally do.
Well, yes, that's one of the things the Evil Maker does. However, once that mystery is resolved, which was, like I said, what the first movie relied on, in this movie we know exactly what the Evil Maker is. So, what we get to explore during the rest of the movie are different ways the Evil Maker plays with people and the way it plays with their minds and kills them eventually. So,
Okay.
uh,
This was actually my first time watching this. I'd collected it. It's kind of sat on my shelf, and it's in one of these boxes somewhere.
uh,
But uh,
well,
I couldn't exactly entirely find it in time for the show. I appreciate you being able to provide me with a copy. Um, and You're right. This does kind of go in a different way, whereas the first one kind of relied on things that were unknown. It kind of somewhat explained what the evil maker was, but this one kind of goes into it in kind of detail but it relies on some of the things we already know and,
yeah,
recaps on some of the stuff we may not remember for the second time around. So some of the film is in fact going back to the first film and kind of going back and forth between the main storyline and this storyline.
well, yes. At the beginning, we have quite several flashbacks from the first movie, which can kind of provide some insight to what happened in the first one to someone who maybe didn't see it. However, of course, it's better to watch the first one before the second one.
And
That's
before we even go even further, we're definitely going to spoil the shit out of this movie,
oh
like
yeah.
like like we have before. So go see the movie before you check out this podcast discussion or this discussion of ours. We're just shooting the shit about it, so bear with us. So um, Continue, Boris.
Yeah, so in this movie, what we mainly explore are different ways the Evil Maker can torture and kill its victims. It's much gorier than the first movie, and it has a lot of practical effects and some CG effects as well. pretty interesting ones.
Well, and I believe that this would be about the time that CGI was first beginning. So the effects actually look like they were. I think that they were better in this film than they were in Dreamwalkers. Believe it or not. Remember, um, Joe Sherlock's character in Dreamwalkers. He
uh,
got lightning to his feet, made him bounce a little bit.
yeah, yeah. Uh,
Well, it's a step up for sure in this film for what they were able to do as far as lightning bolts to people, making sure that they had like some um, magical powers or something like that, um, especially towards the end. But
uh,
um, so we have Kathy, and she ended up, like you said, having some special abilities, spiritual abilities, like a psychic connection. You said.
yes, with her sister, or so it seems.
So she is seen. Now, is she dreaming these, or is she um, perceiving receiving them during the daytime?
Well, it usually happens while she's sleeping. She has very vivid and long dreams about the house, and it in her dreams it looks exactly the way it does in real life. So, like in the dream, she sees the place where Cindy from the first movie is buried, and when she gets there, she really finds that place she saw in her dreams, and Cindy really is buried there, for example.
Okay,
Uh,
and Cindy, she is the one that we found out that was the one who um,
Slept
uh,
with Serena's husband.
correct, and now she happened to have a significant other of some sort, correct? That is in this film,
Oh, well,
or
that's interesting.
or was it because there's a relatively chunky fellow that um we are Charles, I believe his name is, right?
Yes, Charles.
Played by
Well,
John Wilmot.
yeah. Uh, Well, that's an interesting thing you say, because yes, he did seem to know Cindy because he and Kathy were discussing her. However, I did not think they might have been in a relationship because later in the movie, Charles says he is gay. So, well, okay, maybe in the past he had not admitted it yet, so maybe there was something between him and Cindy, but we don't really get to know much more about that. Uh,
Well,
although,
I know that she ultimately Kathy ultimately gets together with a young man towards the end of the film that he didn't exactly want anything to do with her at first, but he ended up having experiences on his own that led him to the haunted house.
yeah, well, it turns out he didn't want to deal with her because she was the reason. He used to be a cop, and she is the reason why he was thrown off the force because of an unethical investigation. Because he believed Kathy when she said she had a psychic connection with her sister, and we don't know exactly what happened during that investigation, but apparently something went terribly wrong and led to Charles Charles losing his job. Uh, but
No,
yeah,
ultimately there is a spirit medium that ends up going to the haunted house uh, by the name of Madame Vladimiria.
yes, That's Shannon Barksdale's character. Uh, yeah, well, we actually don't get to know much about the real Madame Vladimiria. At first, we see her in this news article that Charles watches after Kathy leaves his place. And then we see her visit the house with her friend Rebecca,
Hmm.
but they try to summon Rachel, but it goes very wrong for them. The
The
evil make yes,
the evil maker comes upon them.
yes, the evil maker taking Rachel's demonic form, the one we saw in the first movie when Serena battled her in hell. That form of the evil maker appears and it kills Rebecca right away. And we actually don't get to see what exactly happens to Madame Vladimiria in that scene, but next time we see her, she is already possessed by the evil maker.
Correct, and she seems to be a seductress of sorts
Oh
in in
yeah,
in this particular film later on, where um, there seem to be several young men who end up showing up at the haunted house for some reason or other.
yeah. Well, Uh, yes, there are a few men who visit the house, and as far as I remember, she deals or tries to deal with two of them. So she seduces Paul, Kathy's husband, who ends up getting there when the evil maker lures him in. So there is this scene when Kathy is unconscious and the evil maker, mimicking Kathy's voice, makes a phone call to Paul, Kathy's husband, and he thinks it's Kathy that's calling him, and she asks him to come to the house, and he really goes there, not knowing that it was actually the evil maker who called him. So when he gets there, the first person he sees is Madame Vladimiria, topless,
Hmm.
and yeah, she is possessed by the evil maker, and she seduces Paul and has sex with him, and therefore she turns him into another demon. Uh,
So, one of the things that I noticed is that there was an effect in here that could turn people's eyes into like some kind of red substance.
yeah, when people are possessed by the evil maker, their eyes glow red. Well, sometimes it's not the only thing. Like we have these demons created from John Bowker's character when he gets killed by the evil maker, he also becomes a demon, and aside of red eyes, he also has like a zombie skin and
So John Bowker ends up playing a character by the name of Jack.
yes, yes. Well, his role is quite short, so he visits the house with a young woman named Lisa. We don't really get to know how they are related. They may be in relationship or something, but Lisa is she is using crutches. She probably had some accident or something like that, and they are there because Lisa needs to take a rest.
Okay,
But
yeah, I remember that part where they showed up to this house and she's like, um, well, now I understand why you got this house on the market for very cheap.
yeah, yeah, very soon. Well, after Jack leaves in his car, Lisa realizes it's the house from the news, and she immediately gets scared, and she wants to wait for Jack to come back so they can leave right away. But before he does, things go terribly wrong for both of them.
Yeah, the evil maker just doesn't want to let anyone get away, do they? Or, but ultimately, um, we see Rachel appear several times. Now, is she a good entity or is she a bad entity? What do you think?
Well, that's actually a very interesting question because throughout the movie we see this demonic Rachel, which is obviously the evil maker with this demonic makeup and stuff, but we also have what may or may not be the real Rachel, who was apparently brought back to life by the evil maker in order to play with Kathy. And near the end of the movie, the real Rachel, well, what looks like the real Rachel, claims to be the evil maker itself. And it says Rachel, the one that Kathy saw, was never really Rachel, but apparently the evil maker just took Rachel's form to play with Kathy, and it says Rachel has been dead all along. However, there is one thing that made me think it maybe wasn't true, because the evil maker is quite a tricky one. uh, yeah, there
And
is.
ultimately, there is a plot here where apparently, um, Kathy is impregnated by the evil maker.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is well, that is actually one thing I found a little strange about the movie when Kathy sees Paul, her husband, in the haunted house. She doesn't understand why he is there, as it was the evil maker who called him there, and Paul is already possessed, and he knocks Kathy down, and he starts to rape her. But Kathy apparently passes out, and it's night when she wakes up, and that's what I find a little strange about this movie, because when she wakes up, as far as I remember, she says, I want to go home. Like, there is no word about her being raped. Like, she somehow doesn't even realize what was done to her. She only remembers it by the very end of the movie, when she has a nightmare about giving birth to the evil maker. Is
Which could in fact be a premonition.
yes, yes. Well, the evil maker coming out of Kathy in the form of a fully grown demonic Rachel. Well, I believe that was a metaphor. I don't think the baby would come out as an adult, but I do think she is carrying a demonic baby of some sort.
A little baby Damien, so to speak.
Oh, oh yeah, that's a very interesting thing you say, because I like the Omen franchise a lot.
But in any case, so the whole plot of this is apparently let's go through this a little bit.
Yes,
Um, so Kathy is the sister to Rachel,
yes,
and she is having visions of what may or may not have happened in the house, since a lot of what happened in the first movie, at least to the public, is unknown to others. So
exactly.
it seems like these dreams and premonitions are what's leading her back to the house. And because the cop believes her, he ends up at the house.
Yes, after he has his own nightmare about Rachel, which happens at the same time when Kathy is having a nightmare.
See,
It
that's where I was a bit confused. I thought that the cop and Kathy's husband were one and the same, but at first, but they were not.
no, Kathy's husband Paul is Warren EBB's character, the one with short black hair.
Okay, so he is in fact his name is Paul,
Yes,
and ultimately he ends up getting called to the house and getting possessed, and somewhere in there is a spiritual rape. And all the while this is going on, um, the Madame Vladimiria and her friend Rebecca
yes,
and
well,
end up going to the home and trying to see what happened on their own. But the evil maker gets them.
exactly. We actually don't even see what exactly the Evil Maker did to Rebecca, which, in my opinion, is pretty interesting because all we see is Madame Vladimiria who witnessed what was done to Rebecca. She turns away and starts vomiting. So what she saw must have been really shocking, and it is left up to our imagination what it could have been. And sometimes what we imagine is much scarier than what we can see on screen.
Very true. Now, ultimately, in the end, we see that Rachel, like you said, has in fact um, somewhat not really escaped, but the real Rachel is trying to be the good spirit and try to be that balance of good and evil.
Well, that's what it seems to be like. However, I have an alternate theory about it, which I actually wanted to say something about. The Evil Maker in this last scene, when it looks like real Rachel, but it is the Evil Maker, it says that Rachel was dead all along. The one Kathy saw was never the real Rachel. But I think it might not have been true because there is that one scene in the garage where Rachel and Kathy are fighting demons. And
Okay.
there is one moment when they get separated, and Rachel is holding the axe, and Kathy is not there. And in that scene, Rachel gets attacked by a demon, which if that was if Rachel was not the real Rachel, if she was the evil maker, she wouldn't have gotten attacked by the demon, and she wouldn't have killed the demon with an axe. So
That's right. The axe shows up again here in this film, just like it did in the last film,
yeah,
where the axe was used to chop up the supposed lover or husband that whoever Cindy was cheating on with.
yeah, that's the same axe. So we have this scene of Rachel killing a demon with the axe, which makes me think that what the Evil Maker said about Rachel being dead all along might not have been true. What I think happened is maybe the angelic Rachel was actually the fake one, because because at that point the evil maker probably knew that Kathy was pregnant with a demonic baby, and I think it created this illusion of the angelic Rachel coming to save her because it knew that Kathy was going to give birth and that more bad things were going to happen, so it didn't really mind Kathy leaving the house.
So
And
what you're saying is that you think that all of it was evil,
uh,
regardless. So there was no intent of good in there. You think that the evil maker was playing good angel, bad angel.
I think when Kathy found Rachel in the garage, which the Evil Maker eventually claims was never the real Rachel, I actually think it was the real Rachel, but I think the Evil Maker eventually just took her soul away and left her trapped somewhere in its realm and just made Kathy believe that it was never the real Rachel, while it actually still keeps Rachel's soul imprisoned somewhere. That's my
Okay,
theory.
okay, that's a good theory. Uh, but is it possible that the evil maker was actually playing both sides?
Uh, Well, maybe it is possible. Although I think that at least at some point in the movie, Rachel had to be the real Rachel because she was killing demons in Kathy's absence, which
Okay,
she wouldn't have had a reason to do if she was actually evil.
okay. So you do believe that there was actually, in fact, a sense of good coming out of this.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I have to agree that there had to have been at least some kind of good fighting against evil in this film, because otherwise, why would the demons be being killed off? You know.
Well, well, exactly. That's why I think the Rachel that Kathy apparently rescued for some time was the real one.
So um ultimately there were some other effects that were shown in this film, like some lightning that kind of blue flash that was going um, towards some of the characters.
Uh,
Um, what do you think of those special effects?
Oh, those were mainly in the last battle between the evil Rachel and the angelic Rachel, which, like I said, the angelic Rachel was maybe. Well, I'm not entirely sure, it's just my interpretation, but like I said, I think she might have been an illusion created by the evil maker in order to give Kathy a false idea that she can live and really be free of all that. So the ones who were fighting with bolts of lightning were the angelic Rachel and the evil Rachel. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, it was quite an interesting scene. So, the angelic Rachel apparently won the battle and temporarily banished the evil one, but yeah, Kathy and Charles ran out at that point, so we didn't see what happened next in the house.
So was there a um, was there any particular music that you heard in this film that were kind of unique or cool?
Well, there was music from the first movie, especially in the opening credits. Uh, now, Other than that, I cannot recall anything in particular. However, it's interesting you're mentioning that because on YouTube you can find a music video called Starstruck by Seasons of the Wolf, which contains clips of Rachel, Felicia Pandolfi from both The Evilmaker and Abomination, The Evilmaker II. So you could check that video out. It's pretty cool.
Okay. Well, was there a particular favorite scene that you could pick out that or stands out to you from this film that you actually liked?
Yes, my favorite scene was Kathy and Rachel killing demons in the garage, especially Rachel with the axe. She was really badass.
I think my favorite scene actually happens to be the vivid dream that Rachel had in the end of the abomination that was
You mean
supposedly yeah,
you mean Kathy? Kathy had a
yeah,
dream. Yeah.
Kathy's dream that she had um of being taken to a hospital and having an evil entity born from her loins.
Yeah, and the evil entity she gives birth to looks like a demonic version of her sister. Yeah, it was kind of shocking. Yes, very cool.
That was my favorite scene. Even though when you first see the red eyes show up on one of the demonically possessed characters, that's kind of cool too. So,
Oh, yeah, I think the first one was Madame Ladmiria, if I remember correctly. I
correct.
think.
And I guess I didn't mind the sex scenes.
Well, of course, Shannon isn't bad at all, right?
At least that's what it appears to be. So, um, in any case,
Yeah.
um, was there anything else that you wanted to say or talk about this film before we wrap this up here?
Phew, well, um, I think there. Well, one thing I wanted to show was some items I have regarding this movie. I actually have quite several
Sure.
copies of it,
The
more than I
various
want.
the various forms of distribution.
Yes, so one thing I have is what I showed before, the Evil Maker double feature, which contains both the Evil Maker and Abomination, the Evil Maker 2.
And I believe that that double feature is now out of print because Tempe Video is now no longer in service. So,
Correct.
but that was put out by
J.R. Bookwalter.
and his distribution company, Tempe Video. So,
Yeah. Uh, well, I think some copies might still be on eBay. I'm not sure, but it's worth checking if you're interested.
definitely. I do believe that there are probably plenty of copies. Now, this is another copy that you're going to show us,
Oh, yeah, I have this DVD and this VHS, which,
which has the same cover on it.
yeah, I think they are also out of print now. The VHS is very rare. I'm not sure it can still be found, but some copies of this DVD might still be on eBay. And I
Well,
also.
and that particular one, just has Abomination as the title.
Yes, it contains only the sequel and some extras, like behind the scenes, bloopers, and things like that. Well, there are some extras on the double feature too, but many more extras on this one.
Okay,
Uh,
good to know.
yeah, and this DVD is also a part of this anthology called Vamps.
Vamps.
Yeah, it contains some other movies called Vampire Stakes, Vulture's Eye, and The Darkness, and Abomination the Evilmaker II. Uh, and aside of that, something I have which I'm quite proud of is this VHS, which was never officially released. It was made only for the cast and crew and friends and family, but Joe Sherlock happened to have two
Extra
copies,
copy.
and yeah, and he sold me this one, which means a lot to me, not only because it's rare, but also because out of all existent editions of the movie, this one is actually of the best quality. Like on the official DVD releases, the movie is letterboxed for some reason. The top and the bottom of the movie are cropped off, and this one is full screen.
Okay.
This one, nothing was cut, and so yeah, I had this one copied to DVD. So here is a unique DVD copy I have made by myself. Uh, yeah, I created the cover out of this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and I also have this very rare VHS called Bad Dreams and Bloody Screams, behind the scenes of Abomination the Evil Maker 2.
Okay.
The
And that
content.
probably is on the extras of the DVD of Abomination that you have.
Yes. What's on this VHS can be found on this DVD, but yeah, this VHS is very rare and a very precious item in my collection.
Now,
Here you can see.
how did you find that one?
Well, also from Joe Sherlock, I think he had two copies and he accepted to sell one to me. So yeah, these well, not only these two, but all these three VHS tapes are very special in my collection.
Definitely, man. I mean, that's a lot to have for one a film. Now, which film out of the two films, Evil Maker or Evil Maker Two, is your favorite out of the two?
Well, I think I slightly prefer the first one, although I like the second one too. There is no question about that, but I think I slightly prefer the first one because it relies more on the mystery, which is something I usually like in horror movies. I like mystery.
I have to
And
agree with you. The first one kind of did with the unknown. Um, Although I didn't mind the dream sequences that Kathy was going through. Um,
indeed,
those were different adaptations, and it seems like John Bowker does a lot with dreams, um, per se. He likes to film a lot of stuff that involve dreams or nightmares.
yeah, or visions and hallucinations.
Correct.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, Dreamwalkers was entirely about dreams. In the
Hmm.
Evil Maker, we had Serena's flashbacks, which some were real, some were implanted into her head by the Evil Maker. In Abomination, we have Kathy's dreams, and
Well, and
so,
Serena only showed up in the flashbacks of this
yeah.
film.
Well, that's an interesting thing you point out because that is actually a subtle clue at the very beginning of the movie that it's not Rachel but the Evilmaker who is sending visions to Kathy because there is this one vision about Serena seeing her husband in bed with another woman, and that's something that Rachel never really saw. It's a memory that the evil maker extracted from Serena's mind. So there is no way it could be Rachel who is sending that vision to Kathy.
Now, I will say that I do have that Vamps collection.
Oh, you
Um,
do?
yeah, that you showed, and I do have that double feature. But I know that I will probably eventually hunt down that version of Abomination on DVD because of that special uh, extra that
Oh,
seems to be on it. Yeah.
this one.
Yep.
Oh, cool. Well, I think there might be a few copies on eBay, and if not, I think they appear every now and then, so it's
Yep.
worth checking.
Definitely worth checking. But the Vamps thing, I know that's from Brentwood, Brentwood distribution.
Correct?
So there were a lot of films that were put out in 4 packs, ladies and gentlemen, that were by Brentwood, and each of them had something different on it. Eventually, I think a lot of them got picked up by Mill Creek
Oh,
um, after Brentwood, and then through Mill Creek, they kind of spanned out, and I don't think all of the stuff from Brentwood was picked up by Mill Creek, but a fair amount of films were picked up from distribution there onto
oh
Mill
wow.
Creek.
I didn't know. I
They
didn't know that.
they might some of them might have actually been on the 50 packs um, from Pendulum Pictures,
Wow.
which Pendulum Pictures is a variation of Mill Creek. It's actually part of Mill Creek. It was their distribution title for their independent horror film section.
Oh wow. Well, if you can find something about it online, you can send me a link. I would like to check it out. Maybe I'll buy some DVDs if I find any.
Well, I know that those are some pretty good collections to buy. It's just that one or two of them are very out of print, and they go for
Ooh.
uko bucks.
Oh.
Originally, they put out two 100 packs on Pendulum Pictures, which then spanned to four 50 packs, and then they split those up into like a ton of 6 movie packs.
Oh, I
Just
didn't know this one. This one has 4 movies. I have another Brentwood anthology. It's just not right here. It's called A Night to Dismember. That one has 12 movies. Uh,
alrighty. So unless you have anything else to add to this film, I think that about wraps up this discussion. So
about Abomination. Huh. Well, uh, I think there was something I wanted to say, but oh yeah, yeah. Uh, what did you think about the effects of the angelic Rachel near the end of the movie?
I thought that they were actually pretty decent. I mean, for for its period. And I think before we go on, I don't think I entirely. I think there was some music towards the end that I'm not sure if it was in the beginning, but it was in the end credits. I think those were a little bit different um, than the Evilmaker music.
Oh, the ending credits music was different. Yes, it wasn't the same one from the ending credits of the first movie. Yeah, true.
So I would be curious as to figure out exactly who did the music behind some of these John Bowker films because it seems like the music actually got better.
Well, according to the cover, it says I don't know if it's going to show on camera. It's a bit blurry, but it says
Yeah.
the music was done by Steve Sessions.
Okay. So Steve Sessions was the man behind some of the music. And I
Uh,
think Steve Sessions did the music for The Evil Maker too.
well, the Evilmaker II is what I'm talking
Well,
about.
the first Evil Maker.
Uh, yes, well, at least it says so. Well, this is the cover for the double feature, but yeah, it says Steve Sessions, and if I remember correctly, in the opening credits, it also mentions Tim Brassfield.
And guess what?
What?
He also did the music behind Dark Zone 13.
Steve Sessions, you
Yeah,
mean?
he was the
Yeah.
composer behind the music there. He was the composer behind Drifter,
Oh,
Blood Creek Woodsman,
ooh, wow.
Platoon of the Dead,
Oh yeah, that was John Bowker's last movie, I think, the most recent one.
Dead Clowns, Psycho Santa, Malefic, Cremains, and Gut Pile.
Oh no, I don't have some of these.
I happen to have Gut Pile, which I suppose, since it's from 1997, eventually we can check it out.
We could, why not?
I I do have Cremains.
Oh, nice.
I do have Malefic. I do have Psycho Santa.
Oh, well, yeah, those were pretty much the ones I don't have. As you know, I think I have all of John Bowker's and Joe Sherlock's movies, so
Well, I know that those are some of the. I know I still have to get Dead Clowns because I've seen it around. It's just I just haven't gotten around to getting it, but that's from 2004. But Steve Sessions, the guy behind the music, behind I just think it's kind of cool that the guy behind the music is actually, in fact, behind some of the ones that I've picked up, and some of Joe Sherlock's films.
indeed, indeed. I
So,
think I've seen that name in quite several John Bowker's and Joe Sherlock's movies, but I don't remember exactly which ones, but yeah.
well, and it looks like Steve Sessions is in fact a director too. So
Yeah.
he is the director of Cremains, Malefic,
Oh,
and
wow.
Dead Clowns. So and I think I also have Shriek of the Sasquatch somewhere. But I thought it was kind of interesting that he was behind some of the music. So
Well,
um,
well, that shriek of the Sasquatch, the title sounds a lot like Scent of the Sasquatch, Joe Sherlock short from Beneath a Dead Moon.
well, I suppose it's nothing like sex squatch.
not sex, scent, like smell, scent
Okay,
of the Sasquatch. That's the title of Joe Sherlock's short.
I know. I just figured I'd say something about another film called Sex Squatch that I
Oh,
happen to have.
oh, no, I'm not familiar with that one.
it's
I'm sorry.
it's underground and it's by Christopher Seaver. Um, you might know um, the Christopher Seaver Joe Sherlock film.
Uh, Bloody Red Lips of Blood, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, was he the producer, I think? I'm not
yeah.
sure.
He was the producer behind Red Lips of Blood because Joe Sherlock was um, doing that under a different name.
Uh, Nigel Cheeseball, right?
Correct. And they were trying to spoof the 80s with campiness.
Yeah.
So, but in any case, I think that's all for today, folks. So definitely check out some of our previous discussions. We're going on a journey, folks, and I'm doing this separately from my regular podcast because Boris is so far away, and he doesn't get a lot of chance to talk about films like this.
Yeah,
And
very true.
and I just so happen to enjoy talking to him. So
I
um, and knowing your thoughts on these films is what I aim to capture, and my thoughts. So I en- I enjoy doing this with you, and I hope that we continue to do this.
Oh, of course, I enjoy it too. Like you said, I don't have many people I can discuss these movies with, so it's always a pleasure. And
Well, this gets our theater therapy session out of the way. You know what I mean? I mean,
indeed,
it really is kind of a way to shoot the shit about these films and talk about anything the fuck that we want to on air because it doesn't matter if we go off topic or not. This is our discussion, and
yeah.
it's technically only for us. We're not really doing this for the audience out there. We're doing this for us.
Well, we are, but if some people are watching, well, I hope they don't mind us going off topic every now and then.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not. So, in any case, definitely check out those. Now, what I was going to plan on doing next week, unless you wanted to suggest a movie for next week, since I've done some of the um, suggesting, is there a movie that you would like to suggest that we haven't done that you would
Well,
like to do?
I was thinking, and maybe you were actually thinking of it too, Joe Sherlock's Odd Noggins.
And doing a comparison of both
Uh,
the original and the remake, correct?
oh, yeah, yeah, that was the idea. And I'm in for it if you agree.
I'm down for doing a comparison of the two. So let's do a double feature of Odd Noggins and see what kind of heads roll.
Oh, oh, oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Just don't
Can,
get caught watching Channel 13, folks. I think that's I think that's the channel that they were watching, correct?
I think it was Channel 12, but I'm
Channel
not
12.
sure. Uh,
Alrighty.
yeah, have you already watched Odd Noggins?
I've watched the remake. I haven't watched the original yet.
Oh, oh, now I see why you mentioned something you did.
In any case, before we turn him into the evil maker, let us adjourn, ladies and gentlemen. I heard that evil laugh. which means that we should get going before the evil maker takes him. So
Oh
stay tuned.
yeah, funnily enough, in Abomination, the Evilmaker II, there is a scene when Lisa, Elana Morgana Smith's character, melts into yellow pudding, which
I
is
I noticed that. I noticed that. That was another thing. It either looked like pudding or oatmeal or something.
it was yellow pudding, yes, and it's something we are inevitably going to mention in our next discussion about odd noggins.
Yeah, there are some special effects that are probably quite kooky in the next two films because and we'll tell you exactly the reason why there are two of them because one is in fact a remake of the other, and I
Correct.
don't think anyone has entirely gone on about both of them.
Yeah, I think the old odd noggins is not easy to find. I think there are no copies on eBay, and it's out of print and sold out, so it's quite difficult to find. So that's probably one of the reasons why not many people discuss it nowadays.
In any case, stay tuned for Odd Noggins, directed by Joe Sherlock, and that's two different versions. So,
Indeed,
in
I'm
any
looking
case,
forward to that one.
as am I, because now I can put my Odd Noggins to disc.
Oh, good.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for another exciting episode as we continue our Joe Sherlock and John Bowker journey. And actually, I think we've finished up our John Bowkerness. Um,
Well, there are a few.
Although there is something that he has to do with Platoon of the Dead, correct?
Yeah, there is a Platoon of the Dead we haven't discussed. There is uh, his short movie Betrayal from Twisted Illusions 2, and his short Dark Bite, which appears in Werewolf Tales and Beneath a Dead Moon. Is there anything else we might have missed?
Well, I was thinking that we could go on about Odd Noggins this next week, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
the following week we could entirely discuss Werewolf Tales and Beneath the Dead Moon.
Oh, yeah! I'm totally in for that.
That way, I can put both Werewolf Tales and Odd Noggins to disc, and I'll watch them, and I'll go and find my Beneath the Dead Moon, and we'll go on and and do two double feature if you're up for it.
Oh, I am. I am excited about it.
Alrighty, man. In any case, so we have now set up the next 2 weeks, folks. So stay tuned for more exciting adventures.
Indeed. Stay tuned. I'm looking forward to the next one. Really.
Alrighty. Everyone have a good night, good morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching.